Okay, Steve, recordings on what you want to tell me.
So every now and then, one of the folks that either I used to work with or in the CWG or somebody that watches our video channel sends me an email or calls me up and says, "Hey, can you answer this question and maybe talk about it on your YouTube channel?" Well, I got an email today from somebody, and this person watches our YouTube channel. And this person says to me, "Hey, my company is a global company, and we're currently running ECC6, and we want to go to S4Hana." I said, "Okay, cool. Why?" And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Because?" So I started laughing at that. And then I said, "Well, what is it you really want to know?" He says, "Well, our project team is working with one of the big four consulting companies. And this big four consulting company says that for 30 million, they will convert all of our EC instances, and there's 3 of them, to S4HANA in 18 months. And I started laughing again. And this poor guy, it must have felt bad, right? Because I'm sitting here literally laughing at him. And he says, "What do you find so amusing about this?" I said, "So answer me one question. What $30 million of value are you going to get once you get in?" I said, "So are you going to get $30 million of increased sales?" I said, "Are you going to reduce headcount by, I don't know, 500-600 people to equal the 30 million? He says, "No, we won't do that either." I said, "Then what are you really getting for your 30 million? He says, "That's the problem. We're not sure." So then I asked the next question, which is, how long has your company been running SAP? "Oh, about 15 years now." "And how many consultants have you had into your company?" "Oh, plenty of them." "And how many of them have actually delivered on time and on budget?" He says, "None of the big ones. Maybe a couple of the small ones, but none of the big ones have ever done that." I said, "So when you go to your board, you better plan on asking them for 60 million and 3 years."
Yeah.
He said, "You're shitting me." I said, "No. If they're telling you 30 million, first off, it ain't worth it. Second off, you ain't going to spend 30 million. And third off, it's going to take way more than the time they're telling you it's going to take." And then to your earlier point, before we were recording, I asked him, I said, "So who in your company knows about all the customisations and integration points?" He says, "That's a problem. Most of them retired during COVID." I said, "Yeah, and I'm sure that the consulting company is telling you it's piece of cake, easy to find them, no problem." He says, "Yeah, that's what they're telling us." So I come back to anybody that wants to do a S4 conversion that gets quoted a number and a time frame. The first thing I would tell you to ask the consultant is, what do you get for your money? What's the return on investment? How long does it take to pay that money off or to gain that money back? And what specifically are you going to gain?
I think that's probably true. My take on it is the consulting companies essentially doing the technical upgrade without leveraging improvements, functionality that the company might want to add to.
This company's being told that not only is this consulting company going to find all their customizations, they're going to eliminate them and change their business so they can go standard SAP. Third gale of laughter just came out of me. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
and you're going to be in business when it's all done?
Yeah, no, it's interesting, I think. Like conceptually, it all sounds very nice. Having essentially software as a service, if you like, where you can just plug into it and it run your business. And SAP will say the system is working as designed, but it's not necessarily designed to work with how you want it to work. But yeah, like we've talked about these things before. Like we've got this people like you and I at the end of or have ended our working careers, and all that knowledge walking out the door. You've got, I suppose, the maintenance agreements coming up where a lot of companies go, "Oh, we better get off ECC and go to S4," and starting to see that a little bit happening, where the companies are starting to get that in their mindset that at some point they are unsupported, which is half true. But yeah, so there is this sort of knowledge that's dropping out, that companies are not ensuring that, like you've said, got a succession plan, or in some companies, though, I do see they are putting focus on renewal of knowledge into younger brains, which is a good thing.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you know how we get as we get older, sometimes we just go, "Oh, this is fine," and you don't think outside the box as much sometimes. But
Oh, absolutely. And just keeping up on the new technologies
yes.
for an old fart like me it gets harder every day.
Yeah,
Whereas for
but
younger,
you just showed me your app.
well, yeah, okay. So I have a Wi-Fi controlled smoker. Okay. Because
Yeah.
I can. Why not? And it doesn't run SAP. However, it is interesting because it's not just that it's in this, okay, you're coming to end of life maintenance, time to upgrade. Oh, by the way, it's going to cost you XYZ amount of money. And the more I think about this and I look back at my career and how many times my company upgraded and did various things, I really struggle with the return on investment. I really, truly do. And we went from 3.1i, I think it was 4.0c to 4.6c to 4.7 to 2005 to ECC6 and all the various iterations thereof. And our core business didn't change, right?
But at some point you do need to upgrade. Like you couldn't have stayed on, say, 3.0i or F or whatever it was. You think?
So, Phil, when was the last customer to migrate off of R2?
I think I've heard stories, but there might even be some still on it. I don't know.
I think there's 2 still on it. When I retired in 2019, there were still 2 customers on R2. I know of multiple companies that ran 4.7 way after their maintenance agreement.
Yeah.
Now, is it the safest thing to do? No.
No.
But I would argue that your company is more at risk of a ransomware attack or a phishing attack than it is from breaking somebody force hacking their way into your SAP system, right? But this is the nature of the software business, right? It's, oh, I have to push new features and the consultants have to push new things and, oh, it's always going to cost more. You got to do this. What,
Yeah.
30 freaking million? That's like, now somebody's selling you a bill of goods, folks.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. These companies, obviously, they make their money off consulting and stuff like that. Like I've at different times worked for some of those big consulting companies, and so you have a view of how they work from the inside out, if you like. And yeah, I've got opinions on it, but I agree. Sometimes some of the smaller, nimble consulting companies can be more cost effective, and sometimes they actually have the better consultants on the ground if you get the right companies,
especially for VC. And this company is a VC company. They want to go from LOVC to the AVC as well. So there's another complication in there.
Yeah.
And I seriously doubt that this particular consulting company has a deep expertise in transitioning from VC to AVC, because their VC expertise is minimal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is interesting. I was talking to a consultant this week, and he's been consulting in Australia for about 20 years, project to project. And he says, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen VC. And how does this magic happen? And that's quite common.
Yeah, somewhere out on the CWG portal is a presentation I did. I don't even remember when I did it. I want to say it was 2015, because it was part of the sell of get rid of LOVC and go to AVC. And I had actually asked SAP, how many customers do you have? And I don't care how you classify customers, right? And then how many VC customers do you have? How many IPC customers do you have? And how many SSE customers do you have? And at that time, it was still called the SCE, right? And it was something in the neighborhood of 225,000 customers versus 7,000 LOVC customers, roughly 750 IPC customers, and 10 SCE customers. And it just goes to show you how rare VC is in the SAP landscape, which makes it all the more hard to believe that somebody's going to come in and just magically transform it in an 18-month time period for a global company with, I think he said they have 4 instances, if I remember right, each of which is customized a little bit differently.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Oh, no, that's interesting. I'm sure there'll be more stories over the coming years.
And to tie this back into the conversation of pre-recording, this person asked me, what would it take to get me to come out of retirement and come back to them? And I said, let's see, if you can spend 30 million in 18 months, I think I'm worth about 3 of that, 10% for an 18-month gig. Oh. He said, I don't think so, which was the answer I wanted to hear. right? Because I don't want to go back to work.
Yeah, but what if someone comes along now, Steve, and says, we'll give you 3 million if you work?
They're stupid enough to do that. I'm willing to go in there with one caveat in the contract, which would be, I only tell you the truth. I only tell you what I perceive to be the truth. I never tell you what you perceive you want to hear.
Yep. And I reckon that's the way it should always be. But anyway, I agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's my rant for the day.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. We'll put that together.